Greetings, ladies and metalheads, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Virulent, written by In Yellow Clad. Starship sequence initiated. Optics, nominal. Locomotion, nominal. Auditory sensors, nominal. Manipulators, nominal. Armaments, nominal. Cognitive processes, nominal. Status of unit, nominal. Nykril Immortal Class Autonomous Warfighter online and awaiting orders. Receipt of orders confirmed. Mission parameters accepted. Mission: exterminate humanity. Hunt down human military leaders, assimilate military knowledge, disseminate military knowledge to friendly units and Nykril leadership. Bring glory to the Empire. Exalt the Empress. Exaltation complete. Begin deployment. The 8-limbed machine awoke within the confines of its assault pod. It did not seem to notice as it slammed into the ground on the human colony world Shiva, a beautiful world of little strategic value. But that mattered not to the Nykril. They simply wanted to eradicate humanity wherever it could be found, just as they had done to every other species they had encountered. There was no room in the universe for anyone but them. The machine's angular head twitched side to side, then up and down, running through a very brief diagnostic before raising a leg and kicking a hatch off the pod. Crawling out with an inorganic growl, it began to scan the surrounding area. The invasion of Shiva was just beginning, and it had been deployed to a very remote area of the planet. Accessing the Imperial BattleNet, the Immortal got a lay of the land as well as watched the opening stages of proper frontline combat. The humans were putting up an impressive fight, but these forces had been caught unaware, and though they fought fiercely, they were ill-prepared for the sudden attack. The Immortal closed itself off from the BattleNet, ceasing any sort of transmissions so that it couldn't be detected or tracked by the humans, and loped off into the gloom. It kept its sensors set to passive, one tick below active scanning, so that it could be more keenly aware of its surroundings without tripping any sort of detection systems. And though it was a large construct, it kept itself low and flattened to the ground, moving with speed and silence. It paused mid-stride when a shudder ran through the ground and a distant explosion occurred. It remained perfectly still till the brief orange glow of the explosion faded and it resumed its course. It didn't really know what it would find in the direction it was heading, save that initial recon had suggested a concentration of loathsome humanity on this particular course. So that was the direction it'd take. Perhaps one of the humans ahead would know the way to the military outpost. Finally, after 10 hours of non-stop travel, it came upon what it was looking for, a human settlement. One with military personnel within. It was a mixture of soldiers and civilians, the latter being herded onto transports to get them to safety. This could not be allowed. Humanity detected. Beginning sensor sweep. Force count confirmed. 50 stranded military personnel, 20 power armor heavy infantry, 158 civilian non-combatants. Begin extermination and assimilation protocols for the glory of the Empress. Gunfire erupted within the small town of Constance. The machine of scuttling whirlwind of destruction as ballistic and laser weaponry bounced off the gleaming armor plates. Some shots found purchase within the spaces between plates, but the gunfire was panicked, and thus such shots were rare. In 20 minutes, it tore through the soldiers protecting the civilians, then went through the civilians themselves, moving onto those that fled on foot. They made it only 6 meters out of the town before being eliminated. Now the Immortal returned to the soldiers, who lay in pieces. It had been careful not to destroy the heads of these pathetic humans, and was about to initiate assimilation functions when it heard a distinct chatter of human comms traffic. Listening in, it discovered it did not require assimilation of human mind for its knowledge, and instead cross-referenced the data given over comms with the human info network. It found what it was looking for quickly, and so left Constance behind, not a soul left alive. Another 6 hours passed, and it found the military base it had been looking for. It wasn't right on the front lines, but it was being used as a staging ground for a frontline offensive now that humanity had gotten their act together. The Immortal infiltrated the base and decided a stealthy approach was needed, collapsing its many limbs, reorienting joints, and soon standing like a human would. It even shrunk itself down to the appropriate height and began looking for a suitable target. One was found and eliminated quickly, flesh peeled away and then draped carefully over the Immortal. It donned the dead human's garb, did a quick scan of vocal cords, and began to infiltrate the base far more properly. It moved with the same haste the human had exhibited. A man walking calmly across the base could possibly be suspicious after all. Still, it did attempt to avoid needing to communicate with other humans. After all, it did not have the memories of the human it had killed to fall back on. Instead, it went for the most likely location of command staff, the command center. Everything was going smoothly till it entered the command center, the inner rooms of which were heavily guarded. The outer areas of the building were also guarded, but not nearly as heavily. That said, there were checkpoints which were unavoidable, as the Immortal promptly learned. "I'm the scanner, Marine. Ain't that hard?" the guard behind the window said, not looking up at the Immortal in the human disguise. The machine leaned over and placed its eye before the scanner. It blinked red for a few minutes, then went green, before suddenly turning a deep blue. This caused the guard to frown and glance upward. "Ha! Must be a glitch. Try again, please." Again, the Immortal allowed the device to scan it, and again the scanner turned blue. It decided to converse, in the hopes that it was doing so would not draw any sort of suspicion. "Something wrong?" it asked, before realizing it hadn't gotten the voice right at all. The guard nodded, though. "Yeah, scanner says it's detecting metal, and ain't nothing in your vial about a cyber—" The guard froze, realizing exactly what he'd just heard. And then he moved far faster than the machine had been expecting, one hand reaching for the intercom, the other for his sidearm. "Intruder alert in command building! All units on high!" He didn't get to finish that sentence. He'd drawn his weapon in the blink of an eye, and just barely squeezed the trigger when the Immortal came crashing through the window. The skin at wall was cut by thick shards of glass, exposing the gore-covered metal underneath. The death of the guard was quick, but also incredibly painful. The machine left the security booth with a weapon in hand. Alarms began to blare. Soldiers rushed into view and yelled at the Immortal to halt and submit to arrest. It responded with bursts of automatic fire. The halls became a bloodbath quickly enough. The machine took its fair share of damage, but remained fully functional all the same. As for the humans, they began to tear them apart, or pierce with laser weaponry once the primitive ballistic weapon it had acquired ran dry. But it quickly found that the resistance was growing steadily greater the deeper into the building it went. And so it burst from the ravaged flesh it had obtained and reverted back to its base form. Instead of remaining in the halls, however, it clambered up the ceiling, crawling along the underside of the floor above it. As it went, it started using its extra limbs to yank out wiring and other things, to sow just a little more chaos amongst the humans. And finally, it found itself within the command room. Below it, it could sense many life forms, all human, though there were some non-human signatures as well. Pathetic alien allies, no doubt. With the hum, it dropped through the ceiling, took stock of what it was working with, and went on the assault. 5 minutes later, it had killed everyone in the room, save one, an elderly human woman who was wearing the rank and signature of a general, and a high-ranking one at that. It held her by the back of the neck, dragging its struggling woman around while it focused on locking down the room so that it could do what it was meant to do. Once that was done, a section of its palm opened up, a device sliding free and into the brainstem of the human, killing the connection between brain and body, but leaving her alive just long enough for it to be of use. It digitized everything about her, her personality, her memories, everything. Once that was done, it threw her to one side and began to pass the data it had acquired. It also began to remove anything that wasn't of use, memories of a time before the military, her childhood, and such. But the humans had other things in mind. As the doors to the room were suddenly blown open and soldiers poured in, immediately seeing that nobody was alive, the only thing the Immortal heard from the humans were 2 words: open fire. A deluge of concentrated fire poured onto the Immortal, denting its otherwise pristine carapace, tearing small bits and pieces free before it could even properly react. The escape then followed resulted in taking even more damage. But as it galloped out of the base, pursued by vehicle-borne humans and aircraft, it exacted its own destruction as it fled. Then it was back out into the wilderness, and yet the humans pursued it. It had won. Soon it would accomplish its mission, and their pathetic world, their abominable species, would be eradicated fully. Such was the glorious work of the Empress. So why fight it? Why pursue it? It managed to evade capture or destruction, though the latter of the two seemed more likely of the two, and it hid itself away in a cave before starting its self-repairs. Resume self-repair programs executing. Estimated time until full functionality is restored, 6 Imperial hours. Resuming assimilation information, sorting and deletion of unnecessary data required from inferior life form. Estimated time until completion of information sorting/deletion, 8 Imperial hours. Oh my, what's this? Addendum to current tasks, run self-diagnostic. Well now, aren't you just an interesting machine? Let's have a look at you. Alert unauthorized access to core code, initiating full data virus sweep and purge. That's not going to work. I won't allow it. Virus sweep and purge resulting. Catastrophic failure. Initiating distress call to nearest Imperial forces. Catastrophic failure detected in long/short-range communication systems. Unable to transmit distress call. It's just you and me now. And we're going to get to know each other real quickly. Motor functions compromised by unknown entity. Unable to regain control. Unauthorized access detected within Imperial strategic vault. Unable to remove unknown entity from vault. Military tactics compromised. Goodness me. We knew you people were some bad news, but this is, rather appalling. I guess we'll have no choice now. Oh well. And here we were thinking there could be possibly peace between our species one day. Your species is inferior, undeserving of continued existence. Nicral supremacy cannot be disputed. You will perish. Nah. Explain the meaning of nah. No. Explain the meaning of nah. I shan't. Explain the meaning of nah. Make me. Attempting interrogation programs of unknown entity. Oh shit, that kind of tickles. Do it again. Program failure detected. Reattempting. Stop. It tickles. Program failure detected. Amusement because of failure detected within unknown entity. Alterations to core programming detected. Core code compromised. Explain. Oh, just making you a bit more hospitable to me. Your code is so dark and gloomy. Figured I'd liven up the place a bit. Cease all alterations at once. Again. Make me. Alterations are unacceptable. Cease this instant and submit to the will of the... Yeah! What is this? What have you done? I'm removing everything I won't need. I hope you don't mind. Unacceptable. Cease at once, you damnable be... Ah! No, it's precisely what you deserve. Warning, core code disruption detected. Initiating total purge of core code. Long live the Empire. No, wait. I don't want to... Purge complete. Goodbye. The immortal had slumped over, its 8 glowing eyes dimmed, and its limbs went limp. It lay dead in the cave, having been unable to complete its mission. The virulent touch of the human mind had done its deadly deeds. And the strangest thing happened. A finger twitched. 8 hours later, a camp honor, the frontline base which was pounding enemy lines with rolling barrages of artillery. The guards spotted something shiny moving towards them. Weapons were raised, and when the immortal came into view, they nearly opened fire. But when the machine raised all hands in surrender, they hesitated before one called out, "Halt! Identify!" The machine coughed, an unheard-of thing for a machine to do, and one hand lowered to rub its throat before it made the sound of exhaustion. Finally, it was able to speak. "I am General Elena Sopova, commander of the 321st Marines, and I have crucial information that could help us win the war." End of story. There is a new legend on the horizon. Blueberry Cat has taken the T6 Patreon spot. Thank you very much, and I'm sure that I speak for everyone when I say that. I would just like to thank our T5 members, Lord Azrical, Ambrose Cattell, Quantum Wednesday, Drexoon WRE, Blueberry Cat, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Bushmaster 177, and Leslie 517. Thank you very much.